Item 3 there, I put together a box culvert comparison, which looks at cast-in-place versus precast concrete box culverts that were let in Sac County from 1999 to 2008. And I basically listed what year they were let, what the size, and some of them even put in whether they're skewed or not, and then the location of where they were at, and what bids we've got. I listed just the low 2 or 3 bids on each type, whether it's cast in place or precast, and I guess on some of them, you know, it was my best guess by looking at the contractors that bid it. Except for the low bidder, you don't know totally for sure what they were bidding, but certain contractors, you know, only bid cast in place, and some of them, you know, are the precast bidders. So, and then what I did was subtract the precast price from the cast in place to give advantage or disadvantage to the precast. The ones in parentheses would have been negative numbers, where the precast would have been higher than the cast in place. And so to try to make it a little easier to see, I went down there as a highlighter and highlighted in yellow where the precast had the advantage and where the precast actually were built. If you look at that, you'll see that all the times that the precast had the advantage were single boxes, not twins or triples. That typically the precast, in fact, looking real quick, I think all the single barrels ended up being precast, where all the twins or triples ended up being cast in place. And I didn't go back any further than 99. In fact, I think there's some other projects let in 99 that I didn't have easy access to, so I didn't include them. But you notice back in that time frame, the precast was quite a bit higher than the cast in place.
It's really narrowed, hasn't it?
And that has narrowed some over the years, and in fact, and I guess the other thing we've tried to do with our plans is set the plans up so that it's not favoring one over the other. One thing, like in 2007 when we did that precast down there on D59, typically you'll see the precast people move in and within, you know, a short period of time, usually within a week, or actually less, they've got the box, the old structure out, the new structure in, and we've got it backfilled. And that's where they really shine, of course. But that gives them an advantage then too, that typically with a cast-in-place project, most of the time they got to do some kind of a stream diversion during construction. And down there on that D59 one, part of the area, I think we got some of that roughness in the asphalt was some of the area where they had cut their diversion through the road. And to try to make that equal, we've tried in the plans we let last year to make sure that if there was a diversion going to be used as part of their project, that cost was incidental to the rest of their project, so that you didn't let a cast in place and then also end up having to pay extra for backfill material on the diversion area. To try and get them to include that cost in their project cost, so it gives the precast people more of a comparison, or more comparable anyhow. Some projects, the precast, since they use a 2-to-1 slope on their apron, you might be able to get within the existing right-of-way and not have to buy additional right-of-way. And of course, if we're doing a project like that one we're looking at up there on M43 right now. That project, we're using federal PR money, and of course if you're buying any right away and it's a federal project, you gotta make sure you check with the archaeological and the historical, and so you get into more issues when you're buying right away. We haven't got it completely laid out, but we know for sure if we go cast in place, we'll have to buy right away, but we're thinking we're going to have to buy right away for a precast also. So sometimes the situation on where they're located and what right away you have to work with might give a reason why we look at more strongly at precast over cast in place. The other thing I guess I should point out is Lakeview or Hancock, is not the only supplier that builds the precast boxes. Another big player is Cretex, and I thought they had a plan in Humboldt, but I guess I'm not sure whether they build the boxes there. There is a third manufacturer, but I don't believe he's got anything up in this area, so I don't know that you typically see him. But
there's one in Marshalltown, or Mason City. We were at the drainage conference a couple of Fridays ago, and I talked to Bob Adams, sells for Hancock, and I talked to him, Renee and I talked with him, and I told him we're kind of looking at this issue, and I asked him if he wanted to, he could stop in and visit with the board, this winter sometime, and talk about it. He might, there might be some advantages, or I didn't want to discourage, so he might contact you, or he's going to contact the board and come in some Tuesday and just visit. But one issue is the speed, the speed involved, and how do you put a value if somebody gets banged up on a gravel road on a detour. So anyway, he's going to contact us and come up and visit with us.
One of the other
Hancock and Cretex, and there's another one. They all make drainage pipe and precast.
One of the other significant things that's obvious to us now on this sheet is how that has narrowed. When we first came on the board, it was $35,000 to $75,000 difference in competitiveness.
Yeah.
Now we're down to less than half that. I mean, it's a significant difference, and we kind of knew that the single barrel ones, that they were pretty hard to beat on.
Yeah.
But they have really narrowed their gap in these last 8 or 9 years from.
And I don't know if that's totally on a pricing structure from the precast people, or whether it's also a reflection that wages and construction costs have gone up, in the field. And of course, you got more hours,
Oh, absolutely.
there, which would affect that too. So,
is there more inspection time for Ron and for our people?
yep.
On a precast, it drug on forever up there. That was some of the worst deals that people were detouring for months.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking, our people got to go up there over that long period. If there have to be some savings, even though it's in-house, instead of those people standing around waiting for a cement truck to get there, there'd be some savings there.
And I guess that situation, I want to try to make sure that in the future that we let projects at a different time period